Oh my goodness. Um, I am hopping in here to tell you why managing time can make you crazy and how to stop micromanaging and just managing your time. My name is Jeanette. I am a caregiver, a wife, a mom, a coworker, a friend, all of the things. And as such, I have a calendar that's huge right here calendar, so huge. I love keeping up with a schedule. I love having a schedule, a routine, rituals, all of those things. And in many, many ways, that is an excellent way to manage your time, especially when you are multitasking and have lots of responsibilities. But one of the things I have learned recently is that there's a difference between managing your time and micromanaging your time. And so I think this is something that probably needs a little clarification, but I want to talk about the difference between being able to schedule and have a routine that's very important for your self care, for your job, for your responsibilities in your life. But when you are so tied to the schedule that you can't allow for any flexibility, that's when you're micromanaging your time. When you can't let go of what is on your to-do list for any amount of time without it derailing you emotionally or personally. So you may be able to do it, but it bothers you so much that you're not being effective for the rest of your day because you're worried and thinking and constantly going back to what you didn't get done that you were supposed to get done. And now you're going to have to redo your schedule for tomorrow because you were supposed to get X done today, and now you got to get X done tomorrow, but you already had a full list tomorrow. So then all that's going to have to be reworked. And your mind is constantly doing this kind of shuffling. And I think about one of those little puzzles where you have to move the pieces to get it right. If your brain is constantly doing that, then you're really not using your time effectively because you're burning energy in your brain instead of by doing the work that you need to do. So, one of the things that I have done in my life recently is to start doing more. I do planning every week. So, I still think it's a good idea to plan out what I need to get done in a given week. However, this is a pro tip for caregivers. Instead of planning out everything in all the slots of your day, you want to leave open times. And here's why. Number one, your loved one may need something that they didn't know they were going to need, or you didn't know they were going to need, and that slot may be filled with that. Or something that you needed to do before that didn't get done because you were doing something else could be fit in that slot without you having to rearrange the whole calendar. So that is just one thing. It's just leave room in your day. Worst case scenario, you've built an extra time to take care of yourself, which of course is the best thing, right? That's what this channel is all about, self-care for caregivers. But that's the worst case scenario is you have extra time to read a book, take a nap, eat a meal, catch up with a friend, pay the bill, whatever other things that for me, it may be fold the laundry, although I will tell you, that is probably the last thing I will do. I hate folding laundry. Okay. So instead of micromanaging your time to get things done as a busy caregiver, you want to just manage your time and include time in your day for the unknown, because I've been caregiving for my mom for around 40 years. Her primary caregiver for over 10 years. And the only thing I know for sure is something is going to happen that I don't know ahead of time. So I make sure that I now make sure, I did not always do this. And it used to cause me so much anxiety when my schedule did not go as planned. If something messed up my schedule, it would send me into a fight or flight situation. I would be very stressed out. I could not focus for the rest of the day, maybe even the rest of the week. I was so worried about getting that done, or angry, like even if it was not like something that had to get done, but something that I wanted to do and I didn't get it done. Um, I would spend the time being pissed off that that didn't happen. Well, that was just wasting my time and not making anybody else's time any better either. So when you build in that block of those small blocks, I mean, I'm not talking like block off hours in your day, but just give yourself a little bit of padding. I don't know if you use any kind of calendar app like at your work, or even maybe as part of your caregiving, but in a lot of scheduling tools for calendars, they will say, when people are scheduling a meeting with you, do you want any buffer time? So do you want people to be able to schedule back-to-back meetings, or do you want there to be a buffer time? That's what I'm talking about. You want to have a buffer times in your day. So maybe it's when you're moving from one task to the next, or from one chunk of tasks to the next, book in a little buffer time. And if you're like me and you have to drive a lot as part of your caregiving or parenting role, um, book in more time than you think you need for driving, because that was another thing that always would mess up my schedule, is I would never allot for any other cars to be on the road. So, or any traffic lights. So book in that buffer time in your schedule every day, in between tasks, in between switching from caregiving mode to parent mode to worker mode. Build in a little bit of extra buffer time. And then that way um, you're managing your time without micromanaging your time. It's going to make you a lot more effective in what you're currently working on. And when something goes wrong, because it usually will, or something doesn't go as planned, because it usually does, then you're able to have those spaces, even if it's just to gather yourself, do some emotional regulation, or do something that you had to switch the schedule because something came up. So that is my tip for this week, and I will be back every week to give you more tips for self-care for caregivers. But for this week, remember to manage your time, not micromanage your time. I'll see you again soon.